if anybody has a Q&A question, just raise your hand or unmute yourself and take it away.
Hey, I'll jump in first really quick, Angela. I really liked just your focus on rapport because I do think it's easy for us to get lost, treating the mall as exactly the same as a trade show, where trade show people have the time at each booth, and the mall, it's more transitory. People are just like zooming by and walking by. I guess I'm just curious, how do you feel, obviously once people are sort of at the booth, is there anything you do that you feel you're able to help attract people to the booth, whether it's through eye contact or waving, or is it just more sort of settled back in and kind of working with the people that sort of automatically approach you. Obviously, I know you're not like yelling at people, screaming at them at the malls in Houston, but just any thoughts on that at all as far as like attracting people to the booth, whether it's through your displays, through your attitude, through body language, or even just calling out to them in any way.
Yeah, I think, thanks, Brian. I think at the booth, I'm doing like a lot of like dad jokes and one-liners, and I've actually stole this from like other people as well. So I'm like, hey man, it looks better in your kitchen, or just like one-liners just get people laugh, and they're like, wait, oh crap, like I actually have Cutco, or just kind of giving them off track. And I'm always waving. So I'm pointing at the products, I'm waving at them, and I'm talking at the same time. Because sometimes, when it's really loud, everyone's yelling stuff. So I'm actually doing gestures and I'm kind of breaking their pattern and their attention. And I'm pointing at stuff, waving. So yeah. And then another thing too is just calling them to the booth, like, hey, come check us out. Or somebody's walking, they're kind of walking slower and they see it's like, it's okay, we're only cutting deals, we're slicing prices. So I'm always just trying to do those, one-liners and make people laugh, come to the booth.
We're gonna put you and Jeff in the booth, dad joke and all. It's gonna be amazing.
Right.
Thank you, Angela. That answers my question super well. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Anyone else
I
have any
have a question
questions they
for you,
want to
Angela.
throw out?
Oh, yeah, I have one. So, a lot of our mall speakers that we've had have been doing this for like a long time. Like we've had Curtis and like Matt Touche and all that. And obviously, you're seeing a lot of success newer into the business at malls. So I actually have two questions for you. So, first one would be, what is it like to grow up in a division where malls are not just a thing that are a chore or a thing that is like a drag on, but it's like what you guys look for year in and year out?
That's a great question. That's a really good question. Yeah, I think especially down here in Houston, I want to say because of the heat, outside shows are a lot, our summertime is a lot more skimpy. We don't have a lot of our really hard hitters. Our hard hitter shows are, of course, fall and then in the beginning of the spring campaign. So summer, that's when SC1, SC2 is. So I'm heavy on the demos. But another way that I found, I was like, man, what if I just went to the malls on the weekends? There's AC, which I like. There's still a good amount of people that are, getting things for the summer. And I've been able to generate so much service calls from that, so many clients from just people wanting service. And that's something that the big part of my business, I want to say, I think I did the numbers on 2023. I need to see 2024. 30% of my annual CPO comes from service, somewhere around there. It's like a third of my business is just service calls. And that's something that I love to do. And I love to get leads and go out to the house or rather do service event is my service. So I think at the malls, and it also helps because now people see us throughout the year sporadically, on weekends. And then around Christmas time, they're like, hey, I've seen you guys all year round, or I've seen you guys a couple of times throughout the year. What are y'all doing on these sets? Or like, tell me more about the Cutco. Like the more you see it, the more people want it. Just like any sensation on TikTok, any people that are like, oh yeah, you guys have to check out this new trend. More people see it. It's like monkey see, monkey do. We fall in that pattern. Um, so the more people see us throughout the year, the more they're gonna eventually get it down the road, whether that's Christmas time. Um, but that's something that is. What was the second question you said after that? Sorry, I want to answer it.
Yeah, actually, I only asked one. So
Okay.
I did have a separate
I
second
was looking
question.
for it. Mhm.
Yeah.
I
So yeah,
was like, when I
so
was going on
my
tangent, I
second
was like,
question.
wait,
Yeah, all good, all good.
active
Yeah,
listening.
so my second
Active.
question would be like when it comes to new customers, because we've heard a lot about past customers and service at the mall from some of our speakers, and we've heard a lot about just like attitude and stuff. But when it comes to new customers, I think there are definitely some people I've ran into where they don't go to the state fair, they don't go to the home show. Obviously, they've never heard of Cutco, but the mall is very different, right? Like at the state fair, like we have 5 booths, we have a reputation, like there's a lot of awareness, but I think some people lose trust in kiosks. So, what is a way that you might change your new customer script or some verbiage you use on your new customer script to build the reputation and the trust, like in the holiday season with the mall?
Yeah, that's good too. So I mentioned, actually, now that you brought that up, I actually mentioned like, hey, I'm not sure if you have ever been to Houston Livestock Rodeo. Have you ever been to the State Fair of Texas? Like, yeah, we're actually one of the sponsors for them. Yeah, Cutco, and do all your things at the beginning of your intro pitch. Number one company, American products. Have a contract with K-Bar. We've been on Modern Marvels, the History Channel, Sharp with Smooth Edge Knife. We've been doing it over 75 years. All those things. And like, hey, by the way, like the biggest thing is you're wanting to wow them, especially if it's a guy that's like the hunting knives. So that's something that I'm like, man, like I feel like whenever I'm talking to like the country single dudes, they're just like, this girl doesn't know what the heck she's talking about. But it's just like trying to wow them, that's the whole thing is get them amazed that they never heard of Cutco and making us credible. Like, hey, by the way, like we're not sold in stores. Like we're just like Snap-on. Snap-on's not sold in stores, but one thing that's super unique about our products is that you're going to use them every day. You're going to have the rest of your life and you can pass them down to your kids. And let me show you this, right? Come, let me show you, right? I used to always ask for permission and people be like, oh no, I'm good. Like, I just want to look. Da, da, da. And I'm just like, here, let me show you. So I just go into like wowing them, right? Getting them to cut the leather. Like, this is why people love it. This is why we're so sharp. I actually use a Henkel's knife. So I use a high quality knife as my comparison. And I think, and also I tell them like, hey, like I literally, we're actually, right by Macy's kind of ish. So I'm like, hey, you guys can like go there and go buy like a pretty high quality set. We have Pottery Barn in our mall too. And also Williams Sonoma's down the street, Sur La Table. I'm like, you guys can go to all the stores and go buy a set, but you're going to find yourself in the same situation. This is why people buy Cutco. This is why we're here. We're only here for the holidays. And I really emphasize that. Another thing that has really helped me is I tell people straight up, like, I pay to be here. I'm like, this is actually at least through the mall. I'm paying for this spot right here. What Cutco allows me to do to earn you as a client for client acquisition is I'm able to give you a discount. I'm able to give you some specials and promotions, right? So I'm putting it all out there. Like, this is the reason why we're here. And this is why people buy now. This is why people buy at the mall. This is why people buy Cutco.
Go ahead, Frank.
No, no, I was just gonna say that's fantastic. I think time wise, we want to respect your time. I'll turn it back over to Anthony. But last question for you here. Jeff Majors asked, are you sharpening at the booth? Are you setting them up for later, or do you do a little bit of both?
Yes. And I'm looking at the chat here. Yes. So I'm sharpening at the booth and I'm only doing it Monday through Friday. And then I'm trying to set them. I actually put the whole day available. So I do them from 11 to about 9. And I just let the customer pick. Some people will only do evening because evening is a little bit slower. More of your higher quality customers are kind of shopping in the morning time. And then maybe not as high quality at the night. But I actually keep the whole day available. No sharpening on the weekends. I don't do that. And then my appointments are an hour apart. One thing that's helped me is I use Calendly. So I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with that. It's just like a scheduling page, and it's a lot of us use that. It's super easy because the customer puts all their information in. They get a reminder. You can set it up to where they get text an hour before, they get text the day before, and that's helped my acceptance, or it helps my show rate. Because before, when I used to have to text them, or if I was just doing it myself, there were so many people rescheduling or just not coming. So definitely doing it at the booth. And then if not, then just follow up in January and get them later. But yeah, I sharpen at the malls.
Nice. But I love that you have sort of a plan for that. You have a strategic plan and a thought process and approach to that. That was awesome, Angela. That was so money. I cannot wait to get the recording of this entire talk out. I'm not surprised. I'm the one that wanted you on the agenda here, but man, you really hit this out of the park. And what an awesome little tip there to come out in Q&A. The way you leverage our sponsorship through the State Fair of Texas and Houston Rodeo. for events that people are already connected to, whether they're every year, at least they know the size and scale. That is such a money little thing I've literally never done. And I run both those damn events. So, wow, holy cow. That was an awesome takeaway for me. Thank you. Thank you so much, Angela. You're an absolute beast. We appreciate you. And more people need to know your name, and we will do our best to continue to help with that. So thanks again.
Thank you guys so much. You guys have a good one.